This is verse 38 of the 19th chapter of the Gospel of John. We're in the aftermath of the death of Jesus on the cross, and we now are introduced to Joseph of Arimathea. And John gives us the following. So, meta, which is a preposition. It means with or after. If it's used with the accusative as here, it means after. So meta, after, postpositive, but after tauta. Demonstrative pronoun in the neuter, after these things. And then erotesen, from erotao, it means to request. To make a request, usually it implies a certain degree of confidence, so we get the feeling that, as we actually hear elsewhere, Joseph took courage is the idea. This word has a subtle implication in the same direction. So after these things, we have he asked, erotao, a third person singular, aorist active indicative, asked ton pilaton. This is the direct object of the verb, so he asked the Pilate, is the idea. And then the person who's doing this, the subject of the sentence, is Yosef, the word for Joseph. And then we have the addition here of ho, which may have been added later. Then apo, preposition, takes the genitive Arimathaios, from Arimathea, of course. The from Arimathea. The addition of the definite article has suggested that, again, John is supplementing what was the synoptic account of these things and is referring to someone who is now by this time well known. And so he makes reference to him. This is the one I'm speaking of, is the idea. So after these things, Joseph of Arimathea asked Pilate. Then what amounts to a parenthetical remark. We have own from ami, I am, the verb of being. This is the present active participle, masculine singular nominative. So it's an explanatory description of Joseph being, which is the way we'd put it, mathetes, being disciple. This is a first declension noun, of course, being a disciple, mathetes, to Jesu, in the nominative, a disciple of Jesus. And then the caveat is added, kakrumenos. This is from krypto. Krypto means to conceal something. Our word cryptic, of course, comes from that, to make it a secret or to do something secretly. Here we have a perfect passive participle, so he was a disciple, but secretly, masculine singular nominative, again, of course, describing Joseph as the subject of this, so it's in the nominative. So he was a disciple, secretly, however, dia, with the accusative here, means on account of, so on account of ton phobon, on account of the fear, in Joseph, of course, ton udaion, of the Jews. So Joseph had been certainly a prominent character in the Sanhedrin and was well known. He believed in Jesus, but because of the pressures on him and others, he kept it somewhat to himself. But now with the death of Christ, it seems that he's emboldened to be a little bit more open in terms of his personal beliefs. So he had been secretly a disciple on account of the Jews, but now he comes with a certain degree of boldness to Pilate. Hina, the conjunction takes the subjunctive, and so the subjunctive is here. Array, from iro, I take up or I take away, so in order that he might take away. Era is the third person singular aorist active subjunctive, in order to take away to soma, to take away the body in the accusative, to Jesu in the genitive of Jesus. So he comes requesting of Pilate the permission to take away the body of Jesus. Kai, the connective, kai epeptritsin. This is from epitrepo. It means to give leave. It means to give permission here. So that's what Pilate does. It's the third person singular, aorist active indicative. So he gave permission, the subject of the verb, ho pilatos, and Pilate gave permission. And then the final phrase, eilphin, from erchomai, I come or I go, third person singular, aorist active indicative. He came, un, therefore, the postpositive, kai, connective, aren, And again, it's the same word, Aaron, from Iro, I take up or I take away. It's the third person singular, aorist active indicative. He came and took away, to soma, the body, autou, of him, that is of Jesus. So Pilate is approached by Joseph. Joseph makes this request. Pilate seems to have no objection, having already confirmed that Jesus is indeed dead. And so now Joseph, somewhat more in the open, of course, is going to care for the body. This was permitted under Roman law. If a friend of someone who had been crucified steps up and requests permission to dispose of the body, then that would be granted. And so Pilate is doing something here relatively pro forma, but of course it speaks volumes concerning the significance of the event and the courage now that we find displayed in Joseph of Arimathea.